At People's Federal and Anna, what loan programs are you guys able to offer as far as conventional loans? Do you do government loans, 0% down loans, those kind of loans like that?
Yep, we do all the government loans. So we do the USDA loan, which is a 0% down, and in certain instances, they'll even let you roll your closing costs in. So in that case, you could theoretically get the loan without investing a single dollar of your own. So, you know, just because you don't have a down payment doesn't mean you're completely eliminated from being able to purchase a home. We also offer FHA loans that requires 3% down. We offer VA loans; those can be 100% financing. So there's a lot of options. Don't just think because you don't have a down payment that you're eliminated from the housing market.
Absolutely, and the USDA loan is a really good choice for first-time home buyers out there, especially like you mentioned, 0% down. So when I tell people you can buy a home with 0% down, Joel Schneider here at People's Federal is one of them that can help you make that happen. And also, one of the things I really like that you guys do down here is you do in-house conventional loans here at People's Federal. What kind of details can you share about that? Some of the requirements and some of the benefits of doing an in-house loan.
Sure. I love our in-house loan products. 95% of my loans actually probably fall under this category. We don't sell very many of them off just because of what we're able to offer. We currently have a construction to permanent financing that sets us apart from the market. That's meaning there's only one closing to do a construction loan. So you have 12 months to construct the home, and then you have a term out phase thereafter. And it all happens simultaneously in one go around. So you don't have two sets of closing costs. A lot of the other banks, you have a 12-month window, and then you have to reapply to get the term financing at the end, and you have to incur the closing costs once again. Another good thing about our in-house loans is closing costs. They are significantly less. You're talking about $3,000 usually when you want to sell off a conventional loan. We can do it for about $1,800. So you're knocking a big chunk of change off the top there. So that's another thing that our borrowers love. We've started doing 15 years fixed, and then it can be amortized over 30 years. So that gives you a very long period of time to get your feet under you. And I always say don't be afraid of a 15-1 variable, just because the average length of a loan is typically 7 to 8 years. So it's very unlikely that you're going to get to year 15 and not have refinanced to put a garage on or moved houses or whatever it is. So 15-1 fixed for 15 years and then variable every year thereafter for 30 years has been a great product for us to sell.
You hit the nail on the head kind of with the 15-1 loan there too, because I think the average time spent in a house is usually about 7 to 8 years, according to some of the studies out there. So you don't have to worry about hitting that 15th year and maybe having a different interest rate than you kind of started out with. And that's another thing I really like about People's Federal too, is the low closing costs they're able to offer on those in-house loans. And it just saves you as a home buyer that much more money out of your pocket up front, which means you can spend more money on flooring or new cabinetry, whatever you want to do. If you're going to update your bathroom, whatever, kind of like I have been doing on my house, which we've kind of talked about a little out there too. But I think that's a really good option when you go in-house here at People's Federal for sure. So one thing when I sit down with a buyer for the first time that I really advise them to do is go and talk to a local bank or lender and try to get an idea as far as getting pre-approved for a home loan, and they'll be able to tell you how much you can afford, what kind of loan type, and that kind of stuff. So I really recommend buyers do that first before going out and looking at homes. Is that something that you would recommend too for home buyers?
Oh, I believe absolutely getting pre-approval is it's not a crucial step, but it's very helpful for the bank and for the realtor, because you may think you can afford a $300,000 house, and once you get in front of me, you may find out, hey, I can afford $400,000, or oh, I can only afford $200,000. So it's important that way you're not wasting the realtor's time looking at houses, and then, oh, this is the one I want, and then you come into the bank and the bank says you can't afford it. So I think it's a very good stage to keep everybody from spending extra time. And that way you're not wasting your time as a buyer looking at homes that aren't for you.
Exactly, especially with how competitive the marketplace is right now. Having that pre-approval ahead of time gives you the opportunity to house hunt with confidence, and when you find the home that you truly want, you're ready to put in that offer right then and there, rather than maybe having to wait 24 to 48 hours to get in and see a local bank or lender to get pre-approved, and then you could be dealt kind of a bad hand and miss out on the house that way too. Which unfortunately has happened before. Overall, what is your pre-approval process like? How can people get to you to schedule a pre-approval, and what documentation do they need to bring with them?
Sure. For a pre-approval, I just have you bring a month worth of pay stubs and have you sign an application so I can pull credit. Once I have the credit and the income, I have enough to give a pre-approval. So those are really the only two things I need from you. You can get a hold of me. You can call the phone. I got an email address that's listed on our website. Whatever way is most convenient for you.
And I'll be sure to leave Joel's contact below here in this video so you can get a hold of him via phone or email as well. That way you can reach out to him about getting pre-approved. Now this process, is it something that takes a long time, an hour or two at your office to do, or is it?
No.
What is your experience like?
And actually, I would say half hour at the most to get the core things done. But then usually we end up spending another half hour just discussing how everything works, where to go, because I know the terminology and how it all works is very new to people. It's not something you do very often in life. I would say the average person maybe closes a home loan 4 or 5 times in their entire lifetime. And with constant changes in regulations and procedures, it's a lot different than it looked like the last time. That's what I get, when you get some older people, 30, 40, 50 years old, that are getting into their second house, and they're like, I don't remember having to do all this paperwork. And I say, you probably didn't. But our government, after the '08 crisis, had added tons of regulations, and our hands are a little tied with what we can do. So I tell people, be patient. We're doing the best that we can do, but it's going to be required anywhere that you have certain documentation, certain things done at certain times, certain waiting periods. So it can be a process. So I usually like to lay out the entire process for them at pre-approval so that they know what they're getting into. So there's no bumps in the road, no surprises.
Right, which is really good. I think a lot of people out there may be intimidated by the pre-approval process, or just kind of feared a little bit because they think it's going to be something that's kind of heavily pressured, and it's something that takes a long time. But like Joel said, a half hour to an hour at most, and you're able to run all of your documentation, and he's able to talk over and ask, or I should say answer any questions that you may ask. So that's really cool.